give other people hope, because a lot of women, they, when they're on a plateau like I was, they think they're doing all the right things, but they feel like they're not going anywhere. And a lot of people feel hopeless, like, oh, they accept this is all there is. Whereas like the information you're sharing and the way you organize it, it allows people to see that they can change it. It doesn't mean like, hey, you're 60 or 50 years old, this is all there is. You just got to accept that you're getting older, because there's a lot of people that think that they think like, oh, I've just got to accept that this is my body's going to stay like this because my parents were like that, and it puts them in a victim mentality. Whereas what I found with this, it was deeper than what I thought it was going to be. But it's the best thing ever for anybody to deal with the root of their why they're stuck, and then to know how they can break out of it. That's why that's why I promote it. I promote it because
You know what? We're live right now at this moment. So we're going to go live. Zara, I see you're on. I made you a co-host. If you could admit any people that come to the Zoom. Some people will be joining us live from the Facebook group. Some people will be joining us live from the Zoom. Wherever you're joining us live, that'll be great. And Zara, you'll be in charge of the chat too. Nia says hello, Leilani. And I will also piggyback on what Nia just said. And hello, Leilani. Could you introduce yourself to anybody watching that does not know you, has not met you before?
Hi, my name's Leilani Del Campo, and I am an owner with my husband with a salon and spa. But I also see Nia's on, and Phyllis, and a whole bunch of great people there that are also on the same journey of weight loss, but even deeper than that, healing hormones. And so I'm really glad to be here today and just share whatever has been my breakthrough for anyone that also needs a breakthrough for today. So thank you, Coach Tom, for having me here. I'm really excited to share all the things that you have done a lot with me, and Coach Rowena and the community. I never knew that this could be possible. I've tried everything that I thought could work, but when I met you and Coach Rowena and started seeing what
Sorry about that.
I just thank
future viewing.
Hey.
Well, that darn thing interrupted you. Well, here's the thing. You've been a great addition to the community because not only do you want to get healthier for yourself, for your family, for your clients, for your life, but you also want to inspire other women to have their own breakthroughs. And let's dive in and see if we can do just that, because you know what we're doing. And it's a series of shifts. If you were to describe to the women out there, what is a metabolic shift? What happens there?
Well, I found that my metabolic shift was tied into my thoughts and my beliefs, and how that was affecting my feelings and the decisions I was making on a daily basis, how that was affecting my eating habits. I had some roots to emotional eating that I didn't realize that I had. And so that metabolic shift was connected to my thoughts, my gut, needing to have some healing there too. And so it's been like that for me as far as having a metabolic shift.
And how about when we started doing the GH fast? Because a lot of people, because we have to clear space first for your hormones to heal. If they don't heal, if the hormones are not aligned, it's going to be hard to lose weight for any woman and keep it off. And that means creating space for metabolic shifting through not intermittent fasting, but GH fasting, where we actually heal the hormones. How was your first GH fast? Because I think a lot of women are scared of that GH fast.
Well, what happened with the growth, I guess GH, I know some people may not know what GH stands for,
What
but
does it stand for?
for growth hormone.
Whoa, good job, Leilani.
So for those who don't know what happened, I actually was looking for a coach to help me get off a plateau of weight loss. And, I'm a hairstylist, and I mentioned that we own a salon. So Facebook was hearing my clients complaining in the chair of being on a plateau. So they were trying to sell me coaches that have to do with healing hormones. And so Coach Tom had a questionnaire of percentages of fat that you were. So I clicked like I think I was 35 or 40%. I think I looked like this in a bikini. Then I tried another, I said, where do you want to be? And I said, I want to be like 20, 25% or something like that. And then I remember when we had the first consult, and the first thing you said was why I wanted to do this. And I said, well, I'm on a plateau. I've been plateauing. I want to figure out how I can get off it. Then you gave me an assignment. And so that assignment was, okay, well, why don't you do this apple cider vinegar and a half a lemon and drink that, and then don't eat until you are hungry. But when you get hungry, decide to just like to drink. No, was like, no, drink 20 ounces of water. That's what you said. You got to establish your metabolic hunger point. So we did that. And then the next day you said, okay, can you go a little longer? I said, sure. So we did that. And then after that, you said, okay, well, maybe can you do a 24? Because you started telling me about what a 24-hour fast and everything. But I've been used to fasting for prayer. So my first GH fast is probably not like what most people do. I really wanted breakthrough so bad that I said, well, let me try the 24, because I heard you talking about growth hormone fasting and the benefits. And I thought, well, let me try it. And I didn't have a time eating protocol yet or anything. I just went in after you established my metabolic hunger point. And so I started with doing a 24, because you said at 24 you can reset your gut and heal your gut. So I said, okay, that felt pretty good. And I did the second time. I said, well, you said 36 hours you can heal your hormones and you can burn fat. And then I said, okay, well, I did that and I felt pretty good. And then I just decided, you said 48 hours you can reset your dopamine levels. And I said, let me try that. I did it very good. Then I did 72. You said we can get stem cells, save $10,000. And I said, well, I'll do that. So I did the 3 days. I did the 72-hour fast the first week. And you said nobody ever did it in your program. So I was like, but I felt amazing. I felt like, wow, this is great. And so anyway, that was my experience with the fast, and my skin, look at me. It's just, I felt I had a lot of energy.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second, Leilani, because what you said is really, really important, but I also don't want to intimidate anyone new to GH fasting. Leilani was outside of the box. She was an outlier. She, for some reason, could extend her fast so long right from the beginning. I've been doing this for years of my life, and I've yet to do a 72-hour fast. I've not one. I do 48 hours. I've done 36 lots of times, but never 72. So you don't have to do a 72-hour fast. Deb, if you're watching this later or watching it on the live stream, I know you've done a whole bunch of 72-hour fasts. 36 hours is the magic time where GH, human growth hormone, is released into your bloodstream. Now, whenever you extend your fasted window where you're not eating, I call it postponing food, you give your body space to heal your hormones. So you're not fasting, you're not postponing food to cut calories. It's not about that at all. It's about creating space for something in your body called the HPA axis to align and to actually heal your hormones itself. So it's a whole different experience. But for some reason, Leilani did not need much coaching at all to get from an 18-hour fast to a 24-hour to a 48-hour. I mean, she would go the whole week probably. But here's the other thing. It's harder to shift often than it is to fast for a week. I want to say that again. It's actually, when you're in the fasted state, it's easier to stay fasted for a longer period of time because your body shifts over to the fat energy tank, and after you're there, you'll have unlimited energy. But a lot of people have trouble making this shift. But after you make the shift, that's what the metabolic shift is. You shift from the sugar energy tank to the fat energy tank. For some reason, Leilani was able to make that shift really quickly and easily, and she loved it and wanted to make it and stay there the whole time. But here's the caveat. It's actually harder mentally and for your body to shift back into the fed state and then shift back into the fasted state again. And it actually does way more good. It's the shifting. The shifting matters almost as much as the time you spend in the fasted state. And if you've tried intermittent fasting before and it didn't work, it won't work, because you have to have a timed eating protocol that matches where you are. Like Leilani was saying, starts with your insulin metabolism set point where you get authentically hungry, and then we build it from there. But some women, even some men, are able to go long periods of time right from the beginning. In others, they can go 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. But the body learns to metabolically shift again. No matter who you are, if you do it correctly, your body will learn to do it. And I've had people that said, there's no way I could ever postpone food for 24 hours. And 36 hours is nothing for them now. So Leilani is a metabolic shifter, and that is your first, that's your first step. If you've hit a plateau, you cannot lose weight, you don't feel like yourself, the menopausal transition is just weighing you down with your energy, your libido, you have to heal your hormones. And the only way to do this naturally is through metabolic shifting. You don't need HRTs, you don't need a bunch of drugs and diets, you just need to give your body permission to heal itself again. But this is new. Science has uncovered this in the last decade. The medical field hasn't caught up with it yet. There's only a few practitioners that are doing it. I know I'm doing it. Dr. Minnie Pels is very big on it. And there's so much we can heal ourselves. And there's so many old programs of being overweight, not having energy, not being able to lose weight, that we can reverse. But first, we have to create space to heal our hormones. So that's a little bit of the science behind metabolic shifting, and that's your first step. Another step, and this is what everyone wants, is your body composition shifting. Forget saying you want to lose weight. If you're here because you want to lose weight, try to change the way you phrase it and think about it now. It's not about losing weight. It's about changing your body composition, which means losing body fat, decreasing your body fat percentage, and improving your lean body mass percentage. And this happens through metabolic shifting and through movement and strength training, through sleep. And Leilani, you love strength training already, which is great. What body composition shifts have you noticed, and how has it impacted your life? What would you say about this particular shift? Uh-oh.
There you go. Sorry, was what my experience has been is you could see in the picture how fluffy I was on the left. And as my body composition was shifting, you can see I've gotten leaner. That was through that authentic alignment. I believe had a lot to do with that, with my thoughts. And then your program with lining up the exercises to increase metabolism, as well as eating foods that help support healing hormones. With the GH fasting, was all part of this body composition shift. The exercises did help with lowering cortisol levels for me. It wasn't, I liked that it wasn't, doing a lot of cardio work and running on a treadmill. Cause I think before I used to run on treadmill for, and do elliptical machine for 2 or 3 hours. And I'd be like, why am I still not either losing weight or my body composition still looks the same? Whereas you can see where I'm leaner with my arms on the right. And I was able to, now, you put in there sleep. Sleep was a very big thing for me that I had to work through. That I believe those hormones, I had to get those to work together to support my body composition to shift to, along with not doing any night eating. That was a very big obstacle for me, was doing a lot of night eating when I would do like my work or papers or anything like that, as well as having my cortisol levels be so high. Even though I was clean eating sometimes, I realized I had these habits, that these old programs that were not benefiting me. They were keeping me in that mindset and my body composition staying in a plateau place where I wasn't getting breakthrough before. So I love how you listed all that, because it's exactly how my body started shifting when I started having to be aware of these old programs, the root of the programs. And then for me, it was also prayer, because I'm very spiritual, with God showing me roots of things. And you even gave me that what is it, 30 days. I had to prioritize healing my hormones. And that was um, that was a well needed for me to get focused. So that's been my experience with the body composition shifting.
I love it and really appreciate you sharing your perspective, because first off, most people are judging themselves by two numbers: their weight and their BMI. Ladies, your BMI does not matter that much. All BMI is a ratio of your height compared to your weight. The most important number is your body fat percentage. And Leilani referred to this a while back. I'll show you what she was talking about. So if you're wondering what your body fat percentage is, you can tell by these pictures, because pictures to me is the most important data. I look at all my clients' pictures each week to see how their curves are changing, and curves and lines. You can see right here, you see more line and less curve, less fluffiness. Here, pretty fluffy. Well, that's what matters. My BMI, for instance, BMI is the one that the doctors all use, that does not matter. It says I'm obese, yet you can see lots of lines. My body fat percentage is very low. The doctors don't take your body fat percentage. If you know a little bit more and you realize how important it is, you can do a DEXA trim. You can a lot of your scales have it on it. You can do calipers. There's lots of ways, or you can look at your picture and compare it to these. And here's the very form that Leilani filled out. She told me what body fat she wanted to get to, and by golly, what I really liked when we first talked was how many things you tried and nothing worked. And it's because if you're trying to lose weight, you're over 40, a woman, and you're already overweight, you're trying to lose weight, you cannot lose weight until you get your hormones healthier. So forget about, I want to lose weight so I can be healthy. In order to lose weight, you got to get the hormones healthy. And that's the first thing we do. Do you remember the first hormone we decrease and take control over, Leilani?
Yes, the cortisol levels, my cortisol levels were hanging in there.
Cortisol. What's the other one that you has nothing to do with stress, has everything to do with when you eat, how you eat, and why you eat? Starts with an I.
Oxytocin. No,
No,
and
that's the one that balances all
that's
out.
oh,
This is the one where a lot of people are resistant.
with insulin.
Insulin. Yes. The hormone will impact first is insulin levels. Because if you are overweight, your insulin levels are too high. Even if you're not diabetic or pre-diabetic, does not matter. What matters is your body holding on to fat. So by you doing the hunger set point, you are actually reestablishing a new insulin set point based on hunger. So that's a very easy, simple personalized way to figure out where your insulin is and do something about it. All right, body composition shift. So lower your body fat percentage, ladies. That's how you will improve your metabolism and make the shift to the new weight long term. Oh, here's where it gets interesting. If all you did was lose the weight, odds are you'd gain it back. All the science points to this direction, and it's important that I reconfirm what you already know, ladies. If you don't change the way you think about your body, food, your weight, and your health, it does not matter how much weight you lose, it will be short-lived. But if you do change your neurobiology, what's going on upstairs, what's going on in your genes, what's going on in your thoughts, your words, your beliefs about yourself, if you do change, I call it what's going on up top, because it refers to your conscious thinking and your subconscious programs. And I will tell a quick story about Leilani, and then I will let her chime in about this part. Because Leilani lost weight at the beginning, and she kept doing everything right, doing her workouts, following her timed eating protocol, doing all the other steps, but the weight was not going down anymore. And I reached out to her and I said, something is going on. I knew what it was too. I knew it was cortisol. And I knew that she had some things, because Leilani is so happy, so easygoing, such a joy to have in the room, always smiling, sharing her joy. And so I'm like, wow, it just doesn't seem like that could be the case. But the science, all arrows pointed towards cortisol levels for keeping her stuck. And that's when I challenged her with a 30-day prioritize your hormones over everything challenge. And we identified, oh, there are programs going on. There are these stresses going on. Oh, I am releasing cortisol all day long. Leilani, can you talk to me about that journey? You alluded a little bit with the night eating.
Yeah, that was an adventure. Well, when you said there was something going on, you said, why don't you every day text me for 30 days, prioritize healing your hormones, scale. So between 1 to 10, and 10 being like you're prioritizing it the best, and 1 like not being that the best. And so as we were doing it, I there was an awareness that was happening in me while I would even type the text to you. I would, and so one of the things that you would always say is hormones are designed to work together. And I realized I have had these old programs that I had set my environment, I had set my lifestyle, I had set my hormones not to work together. And it came through as I was writing, and I was journaling for 30 days and reading, okay, am I doing this to prioritize my hormones? And I was having the night eating. And as a matter of fact, that's when you and Coach Rowe were talking about, hey, we're going to have to design an evening ritual. You're going to have to go to bed at and put an alarm clock. And that's because I don't wake up to an alarm clock. I wake up every morning around 4 without an alarm clock. And you said you're not going to need one to wake up. You'll need one when you go to bed. And you even said it would take some time. And it may be challenging. And I thought, yeah, whatever. But then it was at first, because I was like, oh man, I didn't realize this really is a struggle. Go to bed at 11:30 every night. Ding, ding, ding. My alarm goes off, and then Coach Rowe would find me on Facebook, and I have to get on Facebook after 11:30. And I said, oh yeah, well, I got to prioritize my hormones. But then those hormones at night, they would be the hormones for serotonin, melatonin. I wasn't supporting those hormones. And then I have the insulin, of course. If I'm eating late at night, well, I'm not supporting those hormones. And so I wasn't setting this up to work for me. And so as we were doing this in the journey, I was realizing that I wanted to understand where the root of my belief was. Why did how did this happen in my lifestyle to believe that it was okay to do this? And as I was trying to make this a new habit. The awareness, doing authentic alignment, doing the GH fasting, and I think the journey about all of it together with this program. Here I am healing my gut, doing GH fasting. I'm healing my hormones, and I'm following my time eating protocol. I'm investing into sleep, and I'm staging my life. Even you told me not to put a sign on the refrigerator and said, "You're not hungry. Do go back to bed." Like that. And
I think the sign was, "Are you really hungry?" It was a
oh,
question.
that was it too. Are you really hungry? Is this authentic hunger, or is, so it was that. And the experience of the 30 days and prioritizing the hormones, what happened is the old programs started to die out as it kept coming to the light, and the new programs, and there were old programs that even before I got married or I had kids or anything, I realized, wow, I I eat when I get mad. I eat when I get anxious. I didn't realize that I had that that belief that whenever I would feel those feelings, it was food for comfort. It was food for those things. And so when it started coming to light, the new neural pathways started opening up for me more. And then there was this time that because what happened is I would wake up in the middle of the night, and I would go to the refrigerator and I would eat a snack, and then I would stay up, and then I'd want to go and, go on Facebook or do laundry or whatever. And there was a time that I realized a new neural pathway was coming in, that I got up in the middle of the night, I was half asleep. I was facing the corner of the kitchen. My back was facing the refrigerator, and then I was still half asleep. And then I kind of said, what am I doing? And I ended up not having a desire to go to the refrigerator. And then I went to bed. And then that's when I shared you. I said, something happened. I did not go to the refrigerator to eat anything. And I went to sleep. I was like, I'm so happy I had the breakthrough. Like, I feel, and the more I kept having 7 to 9 hours of sleep, all my hormones working out, the weight kept coming off, and I kept looking trim. I had more energy. I'm a better mom, wife, staff, working with my staff. Like I just realized, wow, this works. This breakthrough works, healing hormones. So that was my experience with with my neurobiological shifting.
Well, here's what I realized too with you is you were doing everything right, and I knew you deserved to have the results you wanted, but you were not making the progress that you were capable of based on all the other things. And I think a lot of women can relate. I'm doing everything right, and the scale's not moving. I'm not feeling any better. The weight's not coming off. You're familiar with this book. Dr. Libby Weaver wrote the book, The Russian Women Syndrome, where women, more so than men even, I'm guilty of it too, I can relate, women, have this ongoing to-do list all the time in their mind. And that ongoing to-do list, focusing on things you're going to do later, that you need to do, that you must do, that you have to do or else, or focusing on what you should have done better, what you could have done better, what you wish you would have done, what you missed. Oh, and then back to the future. I got to do this in the morning. I have to do this today. I have to do the grocery shopping, try to work out, make dinner. Oh, I got to help Jimmy with his homework, all these things. And that's cortisol drip. So many women are consistently dripping cortisol all day long, and they're not taking the time to create space to realize, oh my gosh, I am literally causing a stress reaction throughout the whole entire day. And that stress reaction, first of all, cortisol is the primary fight or flight hormone. I'm going to get a little nerdy here. And a fight or flight hormone, such as norepinephrine, norandrosterone, I mean, there's several of them. And cortisol is the primary one that when it's released into your bloodstream, your body holds on to fat. It wants to keep you safe. And when cortisol is in the bloodstream, your body will not use fat for energy. It wants more sugar. It wants to be safe. And it's in our biological makeup that when we need to be safe, we want sugar because our ancestors, when they were able to find honey or ripe fruit, it gave them instant energy and safety. And they were programmed just to stay alive, stay safe. Well, we still have that in our genetic programming. So we have to override it and realize I'm safe right now. And if we don't override it, that cortisol drip continues all day long. And then, Leilani, you were very vulnerable in sharing that you had programs, beliefs going on that have been going on for years that made you feel like the only way to be safe was to eat at night, to eat when you're bored, to eat when you're angry, to eat when you're happy. It became an emotional connection, and it became a program. Now, what programs mean, and I believe we're going to talk about this, they're not, because you have a program for your genes. They're not just what's happening in your conscious. In fact, what's happening in your conscious mind is only 5% of what controls your life. The other 95% happens in your unconscious program. And a lot of those were wired since we were little kids. They kept us safe at some point. But now, especially in terms of food, in terms of our decisions, the way we think about ourselves when we're by ourselves, those programs are running the show. And what Leilani has done very well is become aware of those programs and made changes so those programs are no longer running the show. And that's where the lifestyle shift part comes in. So I don't know how brave you're feeling today, Leilani, but can you talk about maybe one or two of the programs that you've become aware of, identified, and actually shifted back to your authentic program, your authentic self?
Okay, one of the programs that led me to be more myself. I think what happened is like you talk about me being very joyful and happy. You asked me before I started this journey, you said, how do you look like when you look in the mirror? What do you think the average? And I know that me, and then you said, where do you want to be 6 months from now? And I said, excellent. And and then you said,
okay,
well, what
I have to
other
interrupt
word,
you because you said something
like
really
if you were
good.
to do your authentic alignment,
You said something really good, but
what word would,
your connection stopped for a bit. So right after you said, I seem like I'm always joyful, then everything was, I couldn't hear what you were saying and your screen froze. So if you could pick up one more time from right there, I think it'd be important because I think you were saying some very useful information. I love technology. Uh-oh. She said, forget that. I'm gone. I'm gone now.
hello?
Yes, if you could pick up right where you were said,
Okay,
I
so
seem joyful.
okay. So I was sharing about the authentic alignment, and when you had asked me what word would fit me, would it be lean or strong? And so I said lean, because I was looking at these pictures of me when I really had felt like I was happy with myself, I was more me. And so I was doing that word lean, 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 lean. So we're doing the tapping, the leaning, the deep breathing, the 4-7-8. And as I was program, what I noticed is that the fears, there was a lot of times when we were calm. I didn't have all that old program. I didn't have all that old program to kind of get in the way. And so what was happening is I was all these old programs were making room for the new programs. And the more my thoughts got replaced, so instead of fear, and all these other things, it was making room for, like I said, oh wow, I've always wanted to do this and now I can do it now. Or I was, wow, this is more me. And so I started seeing we have to take these pictures of ourselves in the app. And as I was taking pictures and doing my regular daily things with my staff, I just felt like, I feel like this is becoming more like me. And the staff and my friends and my clients are asking me, like, you look amazing. As a matter of fact, like, what are you doing with your foods? I said, I'm healing my hormones. And they're like, what? Healing your hormones? And so I said, yeah. And they said, you're losing weight quickly and your skin. And so um, I and I'm able to do, you said if I did, now this was the hypothesis with that healing hormone study, was you said, in 30 days, I bet as you're doing this program, you're probably going to end up being more joyful, more productive, and you'll be able to feel more you. So anyway, I was going to tell you, it's like, that's exactly what happened. I I'm an artist. I'm so happy to do my artwork more. I'm happy to do, I just able to do everything and more that I want to do. I have more energy. I feel like I don't have to hide, because another thing too with women is, when we don't feel good about ourselves, or we want to hide, hide our, wear clothes that are baggy, we want to, we don't want to have our picture taken because, we don't like this part of our arm, or really feel fat, or, whatever it is. And what I found was that I feel like I'm lining up with more of who I am, and allowing it to shine. And that's what I've noticed with the program, is how healing your hormones and having everything line up to this place where who we are can shine.
Oh, I love it so much. Thank you for
Right.
sharing that. And here's the thing, Leilani had to ask herself this question, and every person should ask themselves this question. What programs are you really running? Yeah, you say you want to lose weight, you want to be healthy, you want to have energetic, you want to be there for your family, but unless we become aware of the subconscious programs that are underneath the surface, that have been running since you're a little kid, most likely, unless we become aware of those, we'll revert back to them. And a lot of those programs have to do with our relationship with eating, with sleeping, with trying to stay busy all the time, something always to do. And those all impact our hormones. Now, what are your programs? We keep talking about them. They're the beliefs you have about yourself. And these stories, they happen in your neurobiology. The neurons that fire together wire together. It's Hebb's law. And if these programs, if every time you're stressed at night, you wake up and eat, it creates a neurobiological response in your brain. It becomes a hardwired program, a neural tract. And we all have programs. Driving your car is a program. You don't have to think that hard when you drive, unless you just started driving, which you probably haven't. But you just automatically know how to steer, turn on the blinkers, watch brakes, don't just slam it. Like, that's all wired in your brain. Well, you have other programs that have been working against you for a long time. And here's the thing, you can change your brain programs. There are two recent scientific discoveries, one neuroplasticity and the other epigenetics. What Leilani's done and continues to do, every human can do. It's whenever you change a negative habit into a good habit, a neurobiological change happens in your brain. Now, here's the other thing. So I'm going to put on my nerd glasses. I actually am going to put them on for a bit. Epigenetics is real. You can change your genes. Only 5% of your DNA, your genes, are hardwired and permanent. So you can't blame being overweight on your genes. even if your whole family was overweight. Because 5%, yes, they're permanent. But the other 95% of your gene expression is up to you. And that's where the programs come in. That's where the hormones come in. That's where your beliefs and attitude about yourself come in. Your genes impact hormones, and your hormones impact your genes. Your gene expression can change by tomorrow. And that's why most people who lose weight gain it back. They don't change their gene expression. They lining it. And you said lining up. Can you talk to me about lining up, about now being, about what's that mean? The alignment you keep talking about.
Well, the now being, when you had told us what authentic alignment was, at first I didn't I thought, okay, is it just this deep breathing thing? I was like, are we just gonna sit here and deep breathe? And every time I would do it for myself personally, I would feel kind of so relaxed and want to go to sleep. And I realized I was doing the 4-7-8 breath. But what I realize is a lot of times when have we have a lot of thoughts that are in our mind, and we get stressed and we have that cortisol dripping and we're like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do it, we're not really thinking about so much now. That's my experience with it, is that I realize, like, okay, I'm thinking about how to plan a million things at one time. And so doing the authentic alignment in the morning, doing that morning ritual, more mojo, and what I would do is we would do the drink in the morning, and then there's those movement exercises. And y'all, listen, I mean, I have a busy schedule. 6 minutes of doing some movement, 15 seconds of some exercise and movement's really important. That was really good to increase that flow. But the authentic alignment part of that, where I would sit and either do a 5-5-5 breath, which is that rhythmic breathing, or the 4-7-8 breath, and just get still, really just getting still and doing those breaths and doing some tapping, saying lean, 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 lean. Sometimes I would do that. And then sometimes I would go, now just for me personally, I would say child of God, or something anything that would line up with who I am. And it was actually healing for me to center. And then I would start experiencing, oh, wow, I used to race those thoughts. I don't need to go there again, because every time I did, my cortisol levels would go up. So, and I'm trying to get them to go down so I can get this belly down. I'm trying to make it go down so I can think better. I don't want my insulin to go up with other hormones being off. So I realized that if I was doing a deep breathing, I'm starting to make decisions out of a place of peace. And the now part of what I need to be concerned of.
Oh, we lost your sound again.
Hello?
No, you're back.
Okay. So it says, so what I was saying is that instead of doing that cortisol dripping of thinking I have so many things to do, so many things to plan, everything's on me, and I realized I had some false responsibilities I needed to let go. And then I was trying to be aware about my thoughts and processing. Okay, you know what? Like, let's say, for example, if my kids are like, Mommy, we have this, we need this, and the staff says we need this, and say, oh gosh, I got to finish my doctoral thing. Like, all those thoughts at one time, they were not really helping me at one time.
Oh,
But I was, but I'm aware at the moment where I'm going, okay, let me do my deep breathing. Let me accept what I'm experiencing right now, and then lining up to being very grateful. And as I was doing that, then I seemed to plan better. I seemed to get better.
You
I'm not,
said something that's so useful, and I want everyone that watches this replay to take this away. If you take nothing else away, the first step of changing your brain, neurochemistry, and biology, and changing the old programs is awareness. So the only thing we can ever be aware of is right now, the present moment, now being. Eckhart Tolle describes it beautifully in his book, Power of Now. But the truth of it is, the only thing we can ever influence, be part of, have any impact on, or even be aware of is right now. So now becoming aware. And Leilani described it as creating some space. And you do it with your breath. You create space, and then you realize, oh, shoot, that's that old program. That's not even what I want to think. That's not authentic with my intentions. But there it is again. You accept it. Okay. And then you realize, is that something I can change? Or is that something I need to accept? Is it something I can take action on? And then you realize that your attitude influences your genes. If you can be grateful, either accepting of the present moment or grateful for the present moment, your gene expression aligns with that. And it shows up in every cell of your body. And when you align the way you're feeling and the way you're thinking with what you want to be lean, to be healthy, to be successful, to have love in your heart with your relationships, often we have these goals, but we don't align with our thoughts, our old beliefs, and the way we feel. Your personality is a combination of your attitude, your emotion, and your thoughts. And your attitude is your thoughts and your emotion. But sometimes we're not even aware that we're thinking the same thoughts again and again and again, and it's triggering the same negative emotion again and again. And our body memorizes it. Our brain memorizes it. It becomes automatic. Now, many religious texts and many philosophical texts, as well as science, state that joy is our neutral, natural state. Look at a baby. A baby's only not joyful when it's hungry or is uncomfortable physically, but it's joyful automatically. We were all that way. It's all in our neural programming, but we have to get the other programs out of the way. And we only can do that by aligning our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions with what we really want, our intention. But you cannot do any of this unless you become vigilantly, extremely, consistently, redundantly, I call it doing the boring work, aware. So sometimes I'll text my clients and say, hey, what are you thinking about right now? What are you aware of right now? Where's your attention going right now? Because where our attention goes, our energy flows, and that rewires our genes and our hormones. So what are you now thinking? What are you now feeling? What are you now doing? What are you accepting? What are you learning? What are you sharing? Like Leilani is doing something I call light sharing. She's turning her own struggles into strength, and she's sharing that with other people. But she can only do that right now. She can plan it. She can think about it. She can think about it later, but it's happening right now. And when all we have to focus on, we give ourselves permission to just think about right now and become very aware of what we're thinking right now, what we're feeling right now, what we're doing. And ask ourselves, is this aligning with who I really am? Is this aligning with what I really want? Is this aligning with my authentic self? And often it's not. But we're so used to the old ways, the old programs, that we're not even aware that we're not aware. And you reference God. Beliefs, if you have, science has proven this, if you have a religious belief, if you believe in a power greater than yourself, if you believe in a God, for me it's G-O-D, get over defining it. I don't understand it well enough to explain it. I just know there's a power out there greater than me, and it is not me, but it's connected. We're all connected to it, and it's all good. It's all love and light. So when you can believe that there's a part of you that is all good, that is all love and all light, and you believe in that, yes, it accelerates your progress. It accelerates you tapping into your authentic program. Now, Anybody that has questions, you can type them in the chat. And we have something really cool and special that we're going to give you next week. Leilani's going to pop back on. She's going to have her own group. And in that group, you can do the 28-day challenge with her. And she will be your guide because she's already done it. That's what she's talking about. Day 1 and week 1, you do your insulin metabolism set point. It's a very special invitation next week that you can join Leilani's coaching group, her warrior group women, and she will be your guide through this 28-day experience. But Leilani, if you have anything else you want to share and state, I am so grateful for you taking the time today. And if anybody has any questions or anything to comment with Leilani, I'd be happy to do that. But she is an authentic alignment master. She's done really well on it. It's made it a big priority her whole time. And I'm grateful that you spent some time to share it. And does anyone have any questions? I can't see if they're asking in the other groups. I go only on if they're on the Zoom. Any parting words from you, Leilani?
Well, I get a lot of women asking about how does it work for them to fast? How do they know which fast to do and when to do it? And also, like, if they're going to do the time eating protocol, how does that work with the fasting in the program?
I would answer that. This is where it gets fun and interesting. Every woman should start off this way. Stop eating 3 hours before bed tonight. Stop eating or drinking any calories. And then tomorrow, wait until you're authentically hungry. And don't eat or drink anything until then. That's going to give you your first piece of data. But you have to get curious. You want to discover it. You want to discover when you're really hungry. It'll allow you to get back in touch with your true hunger awareness and what's really going on in your body instead of just the old programs or routines we get into. Do that for 3 days in a row. After you've done that, each day you should be able to go a little longer. That number is going to be your initial time eating protocol. So say it's 20 hours. One day you'll have a fasted window for 20 hours. The next day, 8, 20, 8. And then comes the metabolic shifting phase, where you stretch the 20 out to 24, then to 36. And if weight loss is your goal, 36 is the longest you need to. But here's the thing. You won't be hungry. You'll have some stuff going on upstairs, up top, but you won't be physically hungry. Your body will metabolically shift and you will use fat for energy and your brain will work on ketone. But after that, it takes adjustment. Like we just changed Leilani's time eating protocol again. And if you have myself or another professional who's taking lots of people through it, it makes it way easier because then you're not trying to guess. You're just discovering. And I would say this to any woman that wants to start, get curious. Get curious because the root word of curiosity is cure. When you get curious about your hunger, instead of feeling like your hunger is this stressful controlling mechanism, everything changes. That was a great question. But for every woman, every man, it's different. There is not a cookie cutter intermittent fasting schedule that works. It might work for a couple weeks, maybe a month, but after that, you plateau. You won't lose any weight. You won't feel any better. You have to do it in a way that works for you. And it is possible to discover on your own and to just experiment. But if you have someone mapping it out for you, it accelerates it so much. Phyllis, you're doing 36.5, 36-12 for 30 days. So that means you're going to fast for 36 and then eat for 12, right? And Phyllis, I'm going to probably have to ask you to put that cigarette out during this. That is not, However, cigarettes don't have calories. But I would say, you know what? That is another form of old program. But I'm gonna answer your question, and I'm super grateful because Phyllis, you lost a bunch of weight just following the information in the group, and I'm super proud of you. 3612, you can do it for 3 days, and then have 2 refeed days, or your body's not going to burn as much fat, because that means 36 and then 12 hours of eating, 36, 12 hours of eating, 36, and then make that 48 hours in each of those days have an 8-hour eating window. Because you have done this for a while, your body will shift well. But if all you do is fast, your body will not burn fat. You have to have days off where you do not fast and you have an 8-hour or 10-hour eating window. So I would, instead of doing that for 30 days in a row, I would do it for 3 days in a row, have 48 hours of normal eating, and then do it for 3 more days. Because you'll be shifting more frequently, and you'll give your body a chance to refeed. Because when you refeed, it makes the next fast more beneficial. So people that all you're doing is fasting, that's not going to work. So you want to just give your body a chance to refeed and then fast again. Does that answer your question, Phyllis? Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions? Leilani, do you have any more questions that I can answer for everyone?
Well, another question that a lot of the women ask me is when they fast, what's the right way to break it when they have to reintroduce certain foods?
Great question. The longer you go fasted, the longer it takes to break your fast in a healthy way. First of all, before your fast, make sure the last foods you've eaten are fat, fiber, and protein. Don't start your fast off with carbs, especially sugars, being the last food you ate. That will make it exceptionally hard during your fast. Okay, number one, start your fast off with hormone healthy foods, proteins, fat, and some vegetables. Okay, now the big one. If you fast for just 24 hours, you can break it with any healthy hormone foods you want. Protein, fat, you can even have some vegetables. I wouldn't go to McDonald's or anything like that, especially not Taco Bell. But 24 hours, you have a lot of space, a lot of leniency. But as soon as you go over 24 hours, even 25, 26, especially 36, your stomach mucus, the mucus lining in your stomach and your intestines, your small and large intestines, just call it your gut. Let's call your gut, your stomach, and your intestines. The mucus lining in your gut, it goes away. And it does this anyway on its own every 3 days, but it does it while you do a fast longer than 36 hours. So the first thing you want to do is reline your gut. That means bone broth. Sip bone broth. Nothing works better, and it's super healthy, and it's loaded with probiotics, because here's another one. If you fasted for 36 hours, your gut is ready to heal. And if you used birth control in the past, or you used anything that has any antibiotics, your gut health gets messed up. Your gut microbiome gets unhealthy. It kills off the good bacteria. But after a fast, if you have probiotics, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, you automatically heal your gut microbiome. You can heal it like in a week. So break your fast with bone broth, wait 30 minutes, and then start with lean protein or start with fat. For different people, one works better than the other. But don't start with fresh vegetables. No, protein or fat is going to be your first thing. 30 minutes later, then you can have roasted or steamed vegetables and some more protein. 30 minutes later, you can have more protein, more fat, more vegetables. And then 30 minutes later, have your first full meal. And you should be able to eat normally during that full meal. But you do it in steps. Now, some women and men are really good at this, and they can just do bone broth and then have their first meal. That's because their bodies become better at shifting. The more times you do this, the better your body gets at shifting. And the better your stomach, your gut health gets at realigning and getting back ready for food. Because you are doing a metabolic shift. You are shifting your body when you shift from the fasted state to the fed state. You just have to give your body, especially your gut, a little time to reacclimate. That was a great question. Any more of those great ones? I feel like we are answering some good questions here. Any other ones, Leilani?
Well, we have people that ask about what an authentic alignment is, and would you describe what's involved? I shared my journey with authentic alignment, but would you share from Coach Tom what authentic alignment is?
I love that. It's a fancy way to combine neuroplasticity, epigenetics, what you want, and what has been standing in your way. But instead of focusing on what you don't want, authentic alignment starts with what do you really want? What are your true intentions? And it's more than losing weight. There's a reason you want to lose weight. There's a reason you want to be leaner and healthier. There's a reason you want to look good in your clothes. There's a reason that you don't want to be that old self. There's a reason you do want to be your true authentic self, because we all have inside of us the same program we were born with. Call it your God GPS. Call it your authentic programming. And it's begging to come out. But throughout life, pain happens, trouble happens, suffering happens, and it gets covered up by these other programs. And that leads to drug addiction, self-abuse, the abuse of others, overeating, stress eating, emotional eating, eating disorders, a litany of different things because it kept us safe. Well, when we realize that those are just programs and we align what we really want and who we really are with what we think about all day, what we think about ourselves when we're by ourselves, and how we feel. Now, here's the thing. What's the difference between a goal and an intention? A goal is something you want. It has a number attached, perhaps, as a date, time. Great. An intention is something you want with emotion attached. You feel the emotion of it happening. That gives it a spiritual, aka quantum charge. And it affects your neurobiology and it affects your genes. Now, when you align what you think about, how you feel about it, and you align your beliefs about yourself with it too, and you realize the old beliefs, they don't align with what I really want, who I really am. The old beliefs don't. And you R3 those beliefs when they pop in. Recognize them, release them, and replace them with what you truly are. Well, guess what? It changes your genetic expression. Every gene in your body, every cell of your body has your DNA in it. Changes to your authentic self. But this is work. This isn't something you just do. It's like a combination of meditation, prayer, cognitive behavior therapy, psychoanalytical therapy, all rolled into one, where you're basically telling your brain to change back to its normal, authentic self. But it means awareness all day long and alignment practice in the morning. And here's where it gets interesting. I could talk about this all day, by the way. After you align in the present moment, like everyone wants to know, what's my purpose? What's my purpose on this planet? When you align what you want right now with your words, with your intentions, with the thoughts you think, with the beliefs you have and the feelings you feel, when you align all that, your purpose becomes crystal clear. And you don't know it just on a conscious brain level. You know it in your heart, in your body, in every cell of your body. And this is backed up by science because your genes are changing. And you have genes in every cell of your body. Your DNA is changing because you're aligning. So there's so much science behind this. You hear about the law of attraction and manifestation. You can manifest your potential if you align. But we lose sight of our potential. And potential and purpose, they're synonymous. It's a matter of becoming aware of what's really authentic and what's not, and directing your attention to what's authentic, and having zero tolerance, making it non-negotiable that you are going to pay attention to your authentic goal, authentic desire. I always ask everyone, what's your deepest, most authentic desire? What do you really want? Why do you want it? What are your principles, your priorities, your values? How's that aligned? And what are you feeling right now? What are you thinking about right now? Where's your attention at right now? It's a million moment to moment now beings that help us align long term. So it's a science-based neuroplastic genetic phenomena that gets accelerated when you believe. And if you believe your higher power, God, Buddha, Dalai Lama, Muhammad, whatever word you give God, if you believe that that's aligning with you, it accelerates it. Science proves it. By the way, anything I say is proven by science, and I won't say it unless it is, and you can apply it. I could talk on for hours and hours, so I will stop there. Authentic alignment is the most important thing. That's how you make these results stick. And that's how you can overcome any negativity, habit, or situation in your life. All right. Any last questions? Then I have a question for you. I have one last question for you. Oh, it's wow, we've gone over. Okay, here's my last question for you.
Okay.
And hopefully that answered it. Probably answered it more than it needed to be answered. But by golly, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. I love that topic. Okay, there are women out there that know they want to change something in their lives, and it may start with their weight. It may start with their body. They know they want to make a change, but something's holding them back. Maybe they've tried so many times and everything didn't work. Maybe they're just tired of all the BS out there, making these promises that don't deliver. What would you say to those women that are scared to take the next step?
What I would say is you have nothing to lose. I would highly recommend doing this. I think everyone should do it. I personally think everyone should do it, especially women. You deserve it to invest in healing your body holistically through this program that's amazing. You'll have so many breakthroughs that are deeper than just the weight loss. I mean, you would hear a lot of times, I hear you would say this, I didn't get it until I was in it, but you would say the weight loss is the easy part. That's the part that's the easy part. It's I'm like, okay, well, gosh, I wonder what that's all about. And when it was these programs that was connected to what caused me to have the plateau and caused me not to be myself and caused me not to do things and so I actually was attracted to the breakthrough words in your program, and because I really wanted to get off this plateau. I wanted to have a better life for my kids and my family and my business, and to really be able to help other women. As a matter of fact, that was when you actually asked me this question, Coach Tom. You asked me, why do you want to do this? You were asking an authentic alignment question about my purpose. And I said, I have so many clients, and a lot of them are women that are on a plateau, and they're very frustrated with not being able to lose weight. They're not happy with themselves. As a cosmetologist, we hear everything in the chair. They don't like this. They don't like their skin. They don't like this fat. Can I help them do other things? And they're not happy with themselves or their image because it's deeper than just the outside. And so I highly recommend this program, especially if you're over 35 or 40 and you're really dealing with health issues that you want to make better, you want to have a better lifestyle. So doing this program is where I feel like I got my life back. I feel like I got my health back. I feel like there's a redemption process that I never knew could be, because I've tried all the other things and they did not work to this place where I wanted to go. I mean, being 210 pounds, you know, the women on my family, a lot of them died early. They had other health issues. I didn't want to be one of those women that, you know, as time goes by, you know, that there was more weight going to be on me. I'd lose more energy. I didn't want that. And, you know, when we have more weight, you have other health problems. I didn't like the way I felt. I was very achy. I didn't like the way I would pick these clothes, and these clothes would be extra large and extra large. And then, you know, I didn't like having to get those clothes, and then my other clothes like that I used to fit in, I would say one day and years go by, and one day, and I just had a point where, you know, here I am and I've been asked to speak here and I don't want to stand in front of people. And, you know, I didn't feel like it was me. So you have nothing to lose if you do this, like to go from 210 pounds. I was clean eating and then I lost 165. And then I was on this plateau for years, you know, going back and forth with 160, 180, 160, 180. And I was not for years not being able to get off this plateau. And so when I started it, it was like all those years got redeemed within a short amount of time, because I had this program, you know.
Now you get to help other women, which is something new we haven't done, like in your own warrior community, where you can, in your own community group, where you can have that opportunity to help other women.
Whatever breakthrough these women, my purpose, talk about authentic alignment. When you asked me why I wanted to do this program, I said, I want to get off this plateau, but I want to help other women get off this plateau, whatever plateau they have. My background in counseling, and I didn't know what to do with that. And I've used it for over the years in other ways. And you know, and the art therapist visioning. And I've done all these things along with other mentors that have mentored me. And I could not for years just not be able to get off this plateau. And I said that once I hit this breakthrough, I want to help other women have breakthrough, as well as help those women help other women have breakthrough, and start a breakthrough movement through healing hormones and having these women shine who they are inside, so that they can be and do more of what they thought they could be.
You
So
have been amazing. You have
I'm,
brightened.
I just think you know, Coach Tom, I just think what's great is you had a big why of with your mom, and it was used to help my breakthrough. So now I want to be able to take the what I have had breakthroughs in my journey, and what I have seen. I've actually had several women that actually were asking me what I'm doing, and they've been playing in it for the last several, was it 2 3 months when I started, and they're having some breakthrough right now. And so having this group is exciting, because I feel like we're really on the verge of a community of women that are going to be releasing this breakthrough on their journey to other people. and so it's just great as a woman. I would say as a woman, we have thoughts and feelings that we don't really uh, know that are there sometimes, and it affects our relationship with our families and our work life and looking in the mirror and all these things we think. And I believe it's deserving, and women are worthy of this, that if we are taking care of ourselves and we can align ourselves with who we are and get in touch with that and remove these thought patterns and programs that are not doing anything to benefit us. A lot of times we don't know they're there. And that's what happened to me. I did not know. And I'm just so thankful that I had this breakthrough in my thinking that removed that plateau for years. And I just hope that all these other women that need it, that we can all work together to help have a community of people with breakthroughs. So I'm excited about that. And we're so thankful for you in this program. Yeah, it's just great. Life Fitness is really
I feel it too. Well, Ilani, big hugs, big loves, so much gratitude going out to you, so much love and light, because you're sharing something that I wanna. So, Mom is working for helping lots of women. Ilani just said so. So that will make her really happy too. And more than anything, just thank you for your time. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing your experience, because it matters. To show our best self. So high five to you, Leilani. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, everyone who joined us. If you're watching the replay, make sure you say replay. Let us know. I'm glad you watched it. And we're gonna launch, and we're gonna see how that goes. So thank you very much, and I am so grateful for everyone. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Bye, Leilani. Bye, Phyllis. Bye, everyone. Never ending Zoom.